What's good? It's your boy Logic back in here in another video. I'm on the highway going about 65 miles an hour, getting it in. Man, let me roll these windows up real quick. Alright, yeah, make sure the sound ain't too bad, right? I just caught up with this thing with Shannon Sharpe, and a lot of people have been talking about the whole LeBron James Jr. prom situation, and basically this goes back to the old age-old thing about black men, white women. Is this do people, I think some people in the black community still have this slave mentality where the plantation has expanded to the size of the United States, meaning that the same plantation politics still apply in America, right? You fucking with the master's white woman and getting tattled on and getting berated and all this other stuff like that. Like, that's what it seems like the mindset of the black community is, and black women in particular, right? And it's funny because when a black woman dates outside her race, they say, go girl, you do you, find your love and shit. And ultimately also say that if she had to do that, that's because there's no good black men, right? So let alone that they're gonna champion her for finding her quote unquote love. But if they had to explain it, they would say that there's not any good black men out there. But when a black man leaves the black community to go outside his race, he hates black women, right? Black men don't get to use there's not any good black women. But black women can use there is no good black men. And I think that's fucked up because it expands outside of the black culture, but in general, women have this thing, this aura about themselves, this narcissistic, that basically they can do no wrong. Any decision a woman makes is justified, whether because she felt like it was the right decision or in her mind it was the right decision or whatever. But if we want to speak specifically about the black culture, black women are queens, and well, hell, they're even more than queens. They think they're gods. They're not called out. Black men are ashamed when we talk about preferences. Hell, most of the time when black men talk about their preferences, it's the skin color don't even come up. You know what I'm saying? It's certain actions that men in general, black men in particular, we just want a certain kind of behavior. That's it. Now, whether you want to associate that behavior to being black, white, Hispanic, whatever, which is bonkers to me because that has been a trope or a stereotype that they've been using for years. Like, even me, when I was growing up in like high school, middle school, they said I act white because maybe I wasn't listening to all the rap and wearing my pants below my ankles and shit like that. I wasn't doing what was quote unquote black. So I've heard it before, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just funny as adults, where I fear we would be, way past that. We would understand that men, I'll say this, and I've heard this plenty of times. Most men have a scarcity mindset. Men typically have to earn their abundance mindset. Women typically have an abundance mindset because they're constantly pursued. There's this thought of another man's around the corner. So what I'm trying to say is, if a man has a scarcity mindset, the best way to combat that is to open his pool of options as wide as possible so that he can increase his odds of catching something, right? We don't want to have to disqualify females for any reason. But it's the black race that's becoming more obese, overweight, more belligerent, got the attitude. They're adopting qualities that make it hard for them to be chosen. Men do not want to have to, men want to qualify every chick, right? And the first chick that you're going to see, typically when you're being black, is a black woman. You know what I'm saying? If you're raised in a black household with black family, and typically if you're black, you probably live in a black neighborhood. The first kind of females you're probably going to encounter will be black. And that's going to be your first dose of like non-family, maybe romantic like relationship type females is going to be black. So they're going to set the tone for the type of tastes and shit that you like, right? So it's funny to me how all of a sudden black men are turning the other way. And it's like, we've done all we can to accept you, but you've turned your back on us, essentially, because there's been plenty of times where the nice guy loses, regardless of race. But if he's a black nice guy, he takes an L. If he's a quote unquote lame black guy, whether he's not black enough or he's not into the type of shit that black men are into, he gets looked over. If he doesn't just meet your aesthetics, whether he's not tall enough or whatever, there's many, many disqualifiers when it comes to men. And as a woman gets older, there's more disqualifiers, because now his income got to be a certain amount. He got to be driving a certain thing. His game got to be on point. There's so many other, where as men, the same qualifiers that we probably had at 18 are the same qualifiers we would have at like 50, right? Men don't ask for much. And it's a shame when, like I said, most men, not even just black men, most men don't ask for much, that the little limited things that we ask for, the black woman in general refuse to deliver it. So what are we left to do? We can't force y'all to do it. We're not going to beat y'all into submission. We're going to go where, where we're wanted, where there's a least resistance, right? And then if you get mad because you see us with a white woman or a Latino woman or whatever, you have to think to yourself, what did they see in me that was great that you didn't see when you got dibs? Most of the time, black women get dibs on black men. And what I mean by that is, they're the first girls we run into. Y'all are most likely our first experience, and y'all passed us over. And typically it's not just a one trick pony thing. We go to another black girl, take an L there, take an L there. Okay, well, let me try something, because like, men are problem solvers. If we try the same thing and get the same result, we're saying, well, let me try something else. Maybe I'll get something new. Oh, I'm getting a little bit better experience over here. You can't blame men for that. You can't blame men for not wanting to suffer. You know what I'm saying? So we go to the path of least resistance. Y'all could, if mimic whatever it is that we're attracted to. If you value us enough, you could just mimic that shit. It's not like, we're not asking you to get careers and have this bomb model-esque body or anything. 90% of the shit we're asking for is basically just an attitude adjustment. Something you could fix in like a month. Like, let's say you needed to take some type of schooling or some counseling or something for your behavior. You can literally get it fixed within, a few months' time. And then you would be primed and ready for really any man, but a black man in particular. Like, which couldn't be said the opposite, because, we got to make this type of money, whatever else. So that means we probably had to go to school. We probably, we got to strike gold with a business that becomes successful. Hopefully we're tall enough, because, the average man's like 5'8" or something like that. So we got to make sure that, we're at least 6 foot. There's a lot of things that whether we can control, or there's a high risk factor in just like, there's no risk factor in being feminine. There's no risk factor in being polite. You know what I'm saying? If anything, these redeeming features in a woman makes you more powerful. You can make, like, it could be used for great evil or great good, because a woman who exudes this feminine aura can get almost any man to do anything for them. Now, that it comes with responsibility, because yes, you could use it to play a lot of men and have them simp for you and shit like that. But you can also, when you choose the right man, you can use it as a comforting tool to recharge and re-energize him as he goes out into the world and gets beat on and then comes back. And then you can basically patch him back up with your femininity and send him back out there more motivated to try even harder to come back with the bread. But when he comes home to a war zone, no, he's gonna go to the path of least resistance. So it's not that black men are leaving black women. They're leaving brutality. They're leaving misuse. They're leaving, abuse. They're leaving getting laughed at and ridiculed. They're leaving behavior patterns. They're not leaving the skin tone, the color. Has nothing to do with, necessarily how you look. I mean, outside of the obesity shit, black women are the most attractive women, in my opinion, on the planet. They come in different shades and hairstyles and all this other stuff like that. They got the best body parts on average. They got the ass. They can get the titties and stuff. Every other race tries to mimic the black physique all the time. So it's not that we're not attracted to y'all. We just can't tolerate y'all. And that typically comes from behavior. So, like I said, easy shit to change, but because y'all are entitled and y'all feel like y'all do no wrong, y'all walking gods amongst men, and y'all think that if y'all change for a man that y'all are doing this. I'm like, look, whether you change for a man or not, like, let's say you change and it don't work out. If your selector's bad and you pick a bad dude, yes, maybe he could be an abuser or whatever. But here's the thing, though. The femininity part, that's just an attraction tool, right? You still got to have common sense outside of that, as far as picking up red flags, knowing not to tolerate certain abuse from men, this and that. When we talk about femininity, we're just talking about the tools that you need to keep a man engaged and draw him in. Now, yes, you're going to draw in all men. You're going to draw in bad guys, good guys, whatever. Your selector, your discernment, or whatever it is, based on your experiences in the world and stuff, you're going to have to use that to weed through the bad guys, yes. But you do it with femininity, meaning when you do break up with these dudes, you don't break up with them in a ratchet way. You don't cheat on them while in the middle of a relationship. You can still break up. As you entered is how you exit. You can still leave with femininity. You can say, look, this ain't working out, blah, blah. Maybe address some of the things that you wish would change. See, if you really want to try to give them a chance to change, whatever. But if it gets, in the rare occasion that it gets dangerous, maybe where your life is threatened or something, he's going to leave the house eventually. You go to your parents' house. You go to proper authorities. You do what it needs to do. You don't engage in warfare with niggas. All right? And men are starting to, and the good guys, quote unquote good guys, they're starting to realize that they don't engage in warfare with bitches. So, like I said, it is what it is. It's one of the reasons why I, quote unquote, left the black community. I mean, I can fuck with y'all, but I can't claim y'all, because the black community is into doing shit backwards and fucked up. And I'm not going to be the lone wolf and survivor trying to go against the grain and then getting shot down every time, we try to make corrections to ourselves. No one can tell us what to do. The white man, you're not going to listen to the white man because he's, because of the history. You're not going to listen to the black man because, he's a man or whatever like that. The black women are going to do what the fuck they want. Even other black women who could try won't even hold other black women accountable because they're afraid that people won't like them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, basically, because we have no structure, no morals, no grounded thing that we all could kind of like gather towards, the black community is falling apart, right? Pretty much we're going to just scatter, intermingle with other races, and just dissipate into nothingness, right? And that's pretty much what's going to happen to the African-American person. I mean, it's nice we still got a continent full of black folks, so it's not like we're going to be like the Indians and the Aztecs where we just disappear completely. But as far as the modern day African-American person, we're just going to disperse, intermingle, mix with a few races, and slowly dissipate and disappear. And that's going to be the future of the culture because we act like shit, we treat each other like shit, and we can't hold each other accountable. It is what it is. So this is your boy Logic. I just had to let people know, just go where you feel happy. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody tell you different. Peace.